Hey guys! Hi.
Hi, Sara.
So today, as you know, the topic is self-worth. I feel like this is a really important message to know because it is, in everyday life, it is really valuable to know. So I just want to start with, do you know those quizzes you just do online? And it's like, even the BuzzFeed ones, and they're like, oh, if you were a fruit, what fruit would you be? Like, have you ever done those before?
Yeah, and we make your breed and we'll tell you your celebrity.
Yeah, or it's like, what Disney princess are you? And it's like, oh,
Your house, or
I know.
pick your favourite set.
I know, it's good, hey?
I got Cardi B.
Cardi B, that's so good. Well, I just want to tell you, I did a quiz recently and it was really funny. So it was like that, because I do all the ones, it's like, what High School Musical character are you? I'm like, oh, let's see. But there was one that I did and it was a really random one. It was like, take this quiz and, we'll tell you exactly who you are. So I was like, okay, this seems pretty random, but I was procrastinating. I didn't want to study. So I did it and it was really random. It was like, imagine a cube. So you would imagine a cube. You're like, okay. And then imagine a ladder next to the cube. And then, have you done that one? Yeah. And then at the end of it, it's like, if you imagined a transparent cube, that means that you're open to people. Or if you imagined a short ladder, that means you're quiet. And it's really ridiculous, but...
It's one that's like you're going to have like 11 children, you're like...
I know, right? And you're like, ooh. And they're really ridiculous, but I don't know, we do them anyway just because they're fun. And it kind of made me think as well, like, what do we let define us? Do we let quizzes define us, who tell us who we are? Do we let failures define us? If as you know, I do dancing. If I lose in a dance competition, do I let that define me? So then do I label myself a bad dancer? Is that who I am now? And it's also, when I started uni, you did those introductory games where you stand up and you have to say your name and who you are. And I'm like, what do you say? What do you define yourself as who you are? Is it these random quizzes that you take? Is it what other people tell you who you are? Is that how you define yourself? Or is it by criticisms? So that's what I was really thinking when I was doing those ones. And those questions are really important because it's really important to know how you view yourself or how much value you think you have. And so I just want to ask you, put your hand up if you've ever... Sorry, I've got a cold. Put your hand up if you have ever felt or you've been told that you're not good enough. Right? Or put your hand up if you have doubted yourself. Or another one, put your hand up if you've faced a challenge, even this week, today, anytime. So these are everyday things. Like, this is something that is inevitable. We're going to come across challenges. We're going to doubt ourselves. So that's why it's so important to know how you define yourself or know what your worth is, because that's going to change the way you view yourself. That's going to change the way you take action, the way you deal with situations. So in saying that, I'd like to show you a scene. Has anyone seen the movie Facing the Giants?
Yes.
Have you? Cool. All right, we're going to watch a scene from there.
A lot stronger than we are.
You already written Friday night down as a loss, Brock?
Well, not if I knew we could beat them.
Come here, Brock. You too, Jeremy.
What, am I in trouble now?
Not yet. I want to see you do the death crawl again, except I want to see your absolute best.
What, you want me to go to the 30?
I think you can go to the 50.
The 50. I can go to the 50 if nobody's on my back.
I think you can do it with Jeremy on your back. But even if you can, I want you to promise me you're going to do your best.
All right.
Your best.
Okay.
You going to give me your best?
I'm going to give you my best.
All right, one more thing. I want you to do it blindfolded.
Why?
Because I want you giving up at a certain point when you can go further. Get down. Jeremy, get on his back. Now get a good tight hold, Jeremy. All right. Let's go, Brock. Keep your knees off the ground, just your hands and feet. There you go. A little bit left. A little bit left. There you go. Show me good effort. That way, Brock. You keep coming. There you go. a good start. A little bit left. A little bit left. There you go, Brock. Good strength. That's it, Brock. That's it.
Not at 20 yet?
Forget the 20. You give me your best. You keep going. That's it. No, don't stop, Brock. You got more in you than that.
I ain't done. Just resting a second.
You gotta keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's go. Don't quit till you got nothing left. There you go. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving it. Your very best. Your very best. Your very best. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. Don't quit on me. Keep going. Keep driving it. Keep your knees off the ground. That's it. Your very best. Don't quit on me. Your very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving it. Don't quit till you got nothing left. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. I want everything you got. Come on. Keep going. It hurts. Don't quit on me. Your very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go.
He's heavy.
I know it's heavy.
That's out of strength.
And you negotiate with your body to find more strength, but don't you give up on me, Brock. You keep going. You hear me? You keep going. You're doing good. You keep going. You not quit on me. You keep going.
It hurts.
I know it hurts. You keep going. You keep going. It's all hard from here. 30 more steps. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Keep going.
Burn.
And let it burn.
Oh, it's a burn.
It's all hard. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Come on. Keep going. You're supposed to be your best. Your best. Don't stop. Keep going.
Too hard.
It's not too hard. You keep going. Come on, Brock. Give me more. Give me more. Keep going. 20 more steps. 20 more. Keep going, Brock. Give me your best. Don't quit. No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Brock Kelly, you don't quit. Keep going. Keep going. Go, Brock Kelly. You don't quit on me. No, you keep going. You keep going. Go, Brock. 10 more steps. 10 more. 10 more. 10 more. Keep going. Don't quit. Give me yours. You can. You can. 5 more. 5 more. Come on, Brock. Come on. Don't quit. Don't quit. Come on, Brock. 2 more. 1 more.
Let's go to 50. I'll have any more.
Look up, Brock. You're in the end zone. Brock, you are the most influential player on this team. If you walk around defeated, so will they. Don't tell me you can't give me more than what I've been seeing. You just carried a 140-pound man across this whole field on your arms. Brock, I need you. God's gifted you with the ability of leadership. Don't waste it.
Coach?
Can I count on you?
Yes. Coach?
What is it, Jeremy?
I weigh 160.
Okay, so there. I love that. I weigh 160. Alright, so can anyone tell me what happened in that, what they thought that meant? You all just watched it, surely. Anyone? Yes. Yeah, yeah? Yeah, exactly. He was doubting himself. Yeah, and he pushed himself. So I'm just going to quickly go through that scene with you. So Brock, let's put this in real life, he's us. We're Brock. We doubt ourselves, we doubt our abilities, and sometimes we think we're not good enough. Sometimes we don't think we're worthy enough to do something, or like his team, when he was sitting there, his team were laughing at him because they were thinking he can't even do 20 yards with someone on his back. So we're going to face criticisms. People are going to doubt us. We're going to doubt ourselves. It's inevitable. It's going to happen because we come across challenges. And in that scene, Coach is God. You know, God is standing there in his ear saying, keep going, you can do it. Because God knows us and he knows our ability. So I'm going to read you. There's a passage in the Bible in Genesis 2 verse 7. It says, I am the creator and you are my creation. I breathed into your nostrils the breath of life. So God created us in his image. And basically every single one of you told me that you've either felt or someone has told you that you're not good enough. But you are so much more. You don't even know your worth. You are built off of, you've had years of meeting multiple people, you've made connections with people, you've got relationships, you have experiences, you've travelled or you've met multiple people, you have memories. Each one of you have individual thoughts, you have ideas, memories, dreams, aspirations, this whole big ocean of things, and you can't just label that not good enough because you're so much more. So we can listen to criticism and our self-doubt, or we can turn our back to that and we can set our eyes and our ears on God, because God tells us what we're worth. He created us. He tells us we're an artwork. We're in his image. And that is so much more than anyone could ever tell you. So when you put your eyes and your ears on God and you listen to who he tells you are, God sees you with your heart. There's so many distractions when we've got social media, we've got other people telling us who we are. There's so many things that we're comparing ourselves to. We're comparing ourselves to others. You know, sometimes you're like, why did that happen to someone else and not me? How come they can play the guitar and I can't play the guitar? And it's really easy to compare yourself and to really doubt yourself, but that's when we have to remind ourselves and we have to go back to who God tells you are. And we're perfect because he made us and he has planned this path for each one of us. Everyone has an individual path. They have a purpose. You have this longing destination that you don't know of yet because it's such a big picture. So when we doubt ourselves and when we listen to that and we don't know how much we're really worth, we can only go that 20 yards or just those 50 yards without someone on your back. But when you do understand and when you do lean into the fact that God loves you unconditionally, that's more than what anyone could ever tell you. He knows your heart. He knows exactly what you're worth. He knows what you're capable of. When you listen to that, you're going to look down and you're going to be at the end of that football field because he is standing next to you saying, you can do it. Keep going. Because when you listen to that, that's what's going to get you to reach your potential, because God knows your potential. A lot of us don't. We don't know how much we can do, but God does because he's put it inside of us. There is no challenge that comes into your life that you're not capable of overcoming because you have been equipped with what you need to overcome it. You just have to try and turn your back to those doubts or those criticisms because you're worth so much more. You are so worthy. And how many times have you not done something because you've doubted yourself? I know there's so many things that I haven't done because I've thought, nah, I can't do that, yeah. And that makes me think a lot of popular figures in pop culture as well. Like, you know, Einstein, they told him, I don't know if a lot of you know about him, that they told him when he was younger, yeah, he was dumb, he wouldn't be able to speak, he wouldn't be able to talk. Yeah, they said he couldn't talk, he wouldn't be able to speak, he wouldn't be able to think for himself. And then look what he's done now. So if we let those doubts define us, then we can't break free and really achieve our full potential of what God has planned us for. There's this big purpose in your life which he is leading you to, and there's so many distractions. Like everyone deals with that. It's inevitable. You're going to have challenges. But that's why when we do lean into what God tells us we're worth, when we listen to that instead of the criticism and the doubt, we can overcome these challenges and you can reach more than you ever thought you could. So whether you have, red hair, dark curly hair, whether you have the tendency to cry at really cheesy romantic movies, whether you have a really, really big laugh, which makes other people smile. None of that was an accident. All these traits, all these parts of you, they were planned with a big plan, and they were planned by a thoughtful God who's put these gifts into you fearfully, wonderfully, and perfectly. You were created fearfully, wonderfully, and perfectly. So I'm going to come back to the first question of what you let define you. Because it's really easy to listen to those things because we're surrounded by it. That's why it's so important to really listen to what God says, because he tells us we're our worth. And it can never diminish. It doesn't matter if you fail at something, whether you have mistakes. Your failures don't define you. Your mistakes don't define you. Whether someone else isn't able to see your worth, that's their problem. That's not yours. Your worth is like this big circle. Whether you feel like you're having a really bad day and you're chucked in dirt, or, you know, you're in the ground, your worth never diminishes. You always have your worth. So after this, also I just wanted to share with you Psalm 139 verse 14. That was the one that said you were made fearfully, wonderfully, and perfectly. So I really want you to leave today remembering that, because, as I said, it's really easy to doubt yourself. I do it, everyone does it, as you all put up your hands. So as we remember that, I would just like you to think of how much you're worth and the gifts and the talents you have and the abilities you have. You're all individuals here. You all have different thoughts, your own ideas, and you should really embrace that, because once you embrace that, you're going to be able to do so much more, and you're going to be able to reach the potential